Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in Toledo, Ohio. So put away your mobile phones, put away your scrubs, because I don't want no scrubs. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love. From me, it's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We kick things off with the Queen, Charlotte Flair. WWE actually did quite a cool thing last night where they showed a video recap of what happened on Raw and Becky Lynch being removed from the match with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 35 and being replaced by Charlotte Flair. And as that video was airing, Vince on the screen goes, "Charlotte Flair!" And then Charlotte Flair, on the stage, comes out on SmackDown. Simple, but effective. We've been reminded of the injustice facing Becky Lynch. Super heat for Charlotte Flair, booed like hell last night. Charlotte says that she told us that this is her destiny. She starts this disingenuous Becky chant, and then she says that she has all along been the backbone of this division. The boos, the boo-earns, crazy heat. She says that Vince made a smart decision by replacing Becky Lynch with her, that she's a future Hall of Famer, not just some flash in the pan. And WrestleMania is the biggest night of the year. So put your most important superstar in that match. But she's going to dedicate the match to her friend, Becky Lynch. Woo! And also she announces that she'll be at ringside for the Ronda Rousey-Ruby Riott match at Elimination Chamber, adding a little bit of intrigue to that match, something that match desperately needed. You know what? This was great, but I almost feel like Charlotte said too much last night. Remember when Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at Mania, and then the next night on Raw he came out and was showered with boos, and every time it looked like he was going to speak, the boos were just, they were too intense, they cut him off every time, and he was there for 7 or 8 minutes, and then he said 5 words, "This is my yard now." This could have been pretty much the same thing. This is my match now. But no complaints, obviously. This was great. Charlotte is a tremendous heel. She's by far her strongest in that role. So initially, I was a little bit worried that Becky Lynch wouldn't be able to keep the level of momentum, the insane level of fan support that she has all the way to Mania. But this, combined with Raw, did a great job of ensuring that level of fan support absolutely stays there. Raw was great, but last night, Charlotte Flair calling Becky Lynch nothing more than a flash in the pan. It's classic reverse psychology. Tell the fans that they're foolish for cheering somebody and they're only going to cheer louder. This absolutely gets an A. As I mentioned, I love what they did on Raw, I love what they did last night on SmackDown, and some are saying this is a little bit too complicated of a storyline, perhaps unnecessarily complicated, but I disagree. I think this has taken all of the heat away from Ronda. The heat is very, very much on Charlotte Flair, as we saw last night, and yeah, I'm absolutely all for it, and it's only going to make Becky's eventual win at WrestleMania all the more special. Assuming that she does win. She will. She will. Next up, it's the mirror version of that triple threat tag team match that we saw on Raw, this time with the SmackDown teams, the IKonics, Naomi and Carmella, and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And the losing team, the team that gets pinned, means that they have to enter the Elimination Chamber first on Sunday, giving them a disadvantage. Peyton Royce starts things off in the ring, but immediately tags out, stands on the apron, and anytime any team tried to tag in either member of the IKonics, they would just jump to the floor, jump off the apron, because if they're not in the match, if they're not in the ring, they can't be pinned, which means they don't have to enter the Elimination Chamber first. Classic heel work, all good stuff. Not a bad match by any means, but largely unremarkable. Naomi probably looked the best out of everyone. She did the splits on her opponent, she did a dive to the outside, and her team pick up the win, and a C+ in the process. But after the bell, the IKonics attack the team of Naomi and Carmella, standing tall to close the segment. And you know what? The IKonics, they are the team that I want to see win that match on Sunday. I think they're fantastic together, and out of all of the teams in that match, they are the ones, to me, that feel like a unit. There are other teams in that match that just feel like that woman and her mate. But the IKonics, they're a proper team. They're really entertaining. I think they could be really entertaining with the belts, especially if they're incorporating some of that classic heel work we saw last night. Next up, it's time for the best tag team in the world, Shane O'Mac and The Miz, and it's time for McMiz TV with their special guests, the Usos. I said it a few weeks ago, but when Miz and Shane enter, I just can't help but smile. I think they're so entertaining together. I really didn't get it at first, but their chemistry now is great. And if this is all to build to WrestleMania 35, Shane versus Miz, then I'm going to be a bit sad because, as I say, I really like those together. That match should happen at WrestleMania 36. Give us another year of it. No, it shouldn't. It should happen at WrestleMania 46. A 60-year-old Shane McMahon taking on The Miz with Miz's dad as special guest ref. Please book that, maybe. Miz reveals that Shane is going to be on NCIS LA with Daniela Rua and LL Cool J. That is not a sentence that I thought I would be saying this morning, and then out come the Usos. The Usos call The Miz and Shane a couple of wannabe Usos, and then they perform a tag team test. What's my favorite color, Us? Red. What's my favorite food? Pepperoni pizza. What's my favorite team? The San Francisco 49ers? Is that right? It got booed. I don't know American football, but yeah. And then Miz and Shane do the tag team test, but Miz is feeding Shane the answers. He's whispering the mic's up there so you can hear everything. It was very funny. And he said, what's my favorite minor league baseball team? The Toledo Mudhens. Huge applause. Fantastic stuff. Cheap pop. Mick Foley, wonderful stuff. Remember last time Miz was a babyface and it just didn't work at all? I didn't think that he could ever do babyface stuff again, but he's great. He's so endearing and charismatic and funny and has proved me wrong. It probably won't last long, but he's proved me wrong. Miz brings up Mandy Rose. Ooh, I'm glad that's over. And then Shane says, I'm going to hit you so hard, your brother will feel it, which is probably quite accurate because Shane's punches are pretty terrifying. There's a bit more trash talking. The Usos knock the mic out of Miz's hand, and it ends with dueling super kicks, the Usos standing strong to close the segment. Fun enough stuff, I guess. I'm going to give it a generous B because I thought all four guys in the ring were entertaining, but Miz and Shane versus the Usos at Elimination Chamber, it feels a bit throwaway. It's just so unbelievably predictable that Miz and Shane are going to win this one. I don't quite know how, but it's very difficult to be excited about a match with not a great deal of build, and more importantly, one that I think we all know who's winning. And with that, it is time for the main event, and what a main event it was. Strap yourselves in because this could be long. Out first is Daniel Bryan, which is brilliant because it means we're afforded another Daniel Bryan promo, but it doesn't last for too long. Bryan says that he doesn't want to participate in the Elimination Chamber match because it's painful and it's horrible and it will likely shorten his career. But he's willing to make that necessary sacrifice if he needs to make that What am I saying? Sacrifice. Sacrifice! God bless you, Big Papa Pump. He's then interrupted by the New Day, and which one of the three will replace Mustafa Ali in the Chamber match? Is it Big E? Is it Xavier? No, it's Kofi Kingston, and I'm so bloody glad it was Kofi because what a night for him. So at this point, we've still got an hour left of SmackDown. It's Kofi versus Bryan to start things off. Some great chain wrestling from Bryan, some great high-flying stuff from Kofi. There was a great spot where Daniel Bryan hits the knees on Kofi on the back of his neck while Kofi's dangling over the ropes. This was brilliant, and you know what? I would have probably given this match an A had it just been a singles match between the two, but things just keep getting better and better. It looks like Daniel Bryan's going to win when he locks in the label lock on Kofi, but Kofi manages to get to the ropes. Later on, there's a great spot where Daniel Bryan goes for a diving headbutt. Kofi takes him out midair with a dropkick, and then on the outside, Xavier and Big E and Rowan, they all start scrapping, even though Rowan started it, right? The referee doesn't see that and he sends Kofi and Big E to the back. Rowan is allowed to stay at ringside. It's not fair. Life's not fair. Bryan then goes for a roll-up and it definitely looks like it's all over here, but Kofi manages to kick out, and then soon after, Rowan interferes again. This time the referee figures it out, sends him to the back. The playing field is level again. Bryan then goes for the running knee, but gets caught with a Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, 3. Kofi Kingston pins the WWE champion, Daniel Bryan. Whew. No time to recover though for Kofi. Jeff Hardy's music hits. Kofi Kingston versus Jeff Hardy is next. Jeff tries to finish off Kofi early with a Swanton Bomb, but misses, and there's a bit of back and forth action. This lasts for maybe 7 minutes, and then Kofi with an SOS pins Jeff Hardy. Once again, no time to recover. It's Samoa Joe. Oof. So it's worth pointing out, at this point in the match, Kofi has been in there for, I think, over 40 minutes, and Joe, it looks like he's just going to toy with him. He hits a really stiff lariat at one point, and then Kofi is up on the ropes, and Joe just shoves him off. He's looking for a count-out victory, but Kofi just about manages to get back in. Joe locks in the Coquina clutch, but Kofi manages to get to the corner, climb the ropes, flip over, pin Joe, 1, 2, 3. Kofi Kingston has now pinned the new Daniel Bryan, the WWE champion, Jeff Hardy, and Samoa Joe all in one night. He wasn't even meant to be in the Elimination Chamber match. Mad. So Joe gets all pissy, drags Kofi out of the ring, locks in the Coquina clutch once again, and it looks like Kofi Kingston is passing out. The referees run down, they try to stop Joe, nobody can stop Joe, and then AJ Styles, his music hits, he comes down, manages to get Joe off of Kofi, but Kofi's screwed, right? Will he be able to continue? Spoiler, yes. We come back from commercial and Kofi is just about managing to crawl back into the ring, trying to get back to his feet. And AJ Styles is saying, Kofi, you've done your best, you don't have to continue. But Kofi wants more. He's now screaming, no, I've waited too long for this. 11 years, ring the bell. This was the coolest moment. This was unbelievable. And we'll look back at this, hopefully, as being perhaps the biggest night up until this point in Kofi Kingston's career. It was an unbelievable moment. Kofi shoves AJ and the match begins. AJ is forced to retaliate. He's laying in the blows. He starts working the leg, but Kofi will not stay down. He rolls AJ up a few times, but can only get a 2 count. And then AJ hits him with a huge backbreaker and then just goes back to the leg again and again. He ends up locking in the calf crusher and Kofi is forced to tap out. The New Day run down to the ring to check on Kofi. A standing ovation, understandably, from the fans. AJ Styles checking Kofi is okay, and then out of nowhere, you know who it is. It's Mr. Dirty Hand himself. Randy Orton runs in, RKO, pins AJ, 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton will be the last man to enter that Elimination Chamber match on Sunday. So this was booked to perfection. I'm going to run down what this match did for each guy before I get to my grade. Daniel Bryan, he looks like he might be in trouble without Eric Rowan by his side. An important message to convey to the audience in the build to an Elimination Chamber match where interference, although not impossible, is very difficult indeed. So now doubt has been casted in our mind. Can Daniel Bryan figure out a way to retain that title, adding intrigue to the match itself? Jeff Hardy. Now this match, I think it's fair to say, did the least for Jeff Hardy. He got pinned following an SOS, not even a finisher, but you know, he's Jeff Hardy. He could just climb up something massive, jump off it and maybe win. I mean, he won't, but he might. Samoa Joe still looks strong. He effectively got his heat back by attacking Kofi after being pinned. It wasn't a cheap pin, but it was an unexpected pin. AJ Styles looks good being the one to put away Kofi Kingston. Even if he was weakened, AJ Styles' intelligent targeting of the leg, and also looked like a really great good guy when he was saying to Kofi Kingston, you don't have to go on, you've proved yourself, and so on. Randy Orton winning in 5 seconds is vintage Orton, and I'm glad that it was him that won this match, because it definitely shouldn't be a babyface to be the last in the chamber match, because who wants to see a babyface pick up the pieces? It should be Orton, and his whole character is being the ultimate opportunist. Not the ultimate opportunist, that's Edge, but deputy ultimate opportunist. And finally, Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston came out of SmackDown last night looking valiant, looking brave. Essentially, this did for Kofi Kingston what the Raw Gauntlet match did for Seth Rollins all those months ago. And this could be the start of something really, really special. I hope that this is a real turning point, the start of a real great long-term storyline. I'm not saying that Kofi Kingston should win on Sunday and become the WWE champion. I'm not saying that at all. But I hope that this is the start of something great and it leads all the way to eventually a world title win for Kofi Kingston, because God knows he deserves it. This match gets an A+. I think that's the first time I've ever given an A+. The Elimination Chamber match on Sunday is going to be terrific. The hype has been effectively, more than effectively built last night on SmackDown for that match, and I can't wait. Matches like this are why we love wrestling. This combination of athleticism and storytelling. This was just so fun to watch from start to finish. The final grade for this week's SmackDown is an A. There was nothing bad on the show. The worst thing was probably the triple threat tag match, and that wasn't even a bad match. It was just a match. And yeah, Kofi Kingston, he has come a long way since being introduced to us as a fake Jamaican. Speaking of Jamaica, did you know that a slice of apple pie in Jamaica costs around $2, whereas in the Bahamas it costs around $5? Yeah, these are the pie rates of the Caribbean. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us. I love you, Kofi.